Grand Central Watch. Very excited today to be here with Luke, who I'm sure you've seen before on video. But today we have our behind-the-scenes champ, Marissa. Welcome.
Hi.
Yeah, so today we're going to talk about 5 things that we hear a lot at the counter.
So we find a lot of the times that customers will self-diagnose. When they come to the counter and they'll say their watch is overwound.
In someone's head, I think, that watch came to an end, so they feel like they did something in the winding process. Yeah. But a lot of times, it's not a customer error. If it was a customer error, they'd break the mainspring probably.
Aside from a mainspring issue, which is what people believe it is, some things could be a broken pivot in your drivetrain or an issue with the setting parts. The true determination of an overwound watch would be, I wound my watch too much and I broke the mainspring.
It is a good chance you did not overwind your watch. It's just that your watch is broken and now we have to find out why. So you'll leave it for an estimate and we'll get back to them and let them know.
So a topic that we hear often at the counter is that their watch is magnetized. They'll bring the watch into us and tell us that the watch is running fast, and that doesn't necessarily mean that the watch is magnetized.
The perfect example on this one was the guy said he left it next to his can opener.
Right,
his electric
right.
can opener.
And
the odds of a small home appliance magnetizing your watch is nil
Slim.
to none.
First off, generally, the types of things that are going to magnetize your watch are large speakers, when you're flying, metal detecting, things like that. A couple other issues that can happen that can make it look like a magnetism problem are with the hairspring. Hairsprings can get tangled occasionally, which will make the watch run extremely fast. And oil from the capsules, if it was oiled too much, can creep down into the hairspring and make the hairspring stick to itself, which also makes a watch run extremely fast.
And a lot of times, you know, when they give us that watch, they feel that if we just demagnetize it, which is a pretty simple process. I mean, as you see, you know, we're doing it on the machine in the back here where we put the watch in and we hit the button. And you even see how the watch kind of jumps a little bit. And, you know, sometimes that's, you know, not a good thing for the watch, especially if the watch hasn't been serviced in a long time. If it's a vintage watch, sometimes other things will come up when you try to just demagnetize something. And that's why a lot of times we'll say to a customer, we're not taking your watch in just to do that. When we know already, that's not going to fix the issue. Another topic I know all the time that we get is somebody comes to the counter and they say, my watch is broken. Or they come to the counter and they say, my watch isn't working.
Right, and then when you talk to the customer and get a little bit more feedback from them as to what exactly the issues are, a lot of the times they'll initially say that the watch is just stopped or not working.
And let's say we just serviced it and they come back and they say, you know, after 2 weeks my watch is a minute fast. That's completely normal. I mean, that watch is running, you know, within seconds a day fast, but after 14 days, you do the math and it's a minute and it's 60 seconds, right?
Which is well inside almost all of the watch manufacturers' specifications.
Right.
A minute or two, you know, over the course of a month is very good for a mechanical watch.
Almost perfect as far as if you bought a brand new one.
20-30 seconds fast a day points to one issue, which is a regulation issue, which is fairly easy to fix. 15 minutes every 2 hours is a completely different issue, and it points to a different issue. So it gives us a starting point. All of us are trying as a team to help fix the problem.
Your watch.
Something we see multiple times down at the counter during the course of one day is batteries.
What kind of watches do you think somebody can try at home or bring to the local mall where the guy's sitting there at a cart, you know, popping things open, not working in the right environment? And what batteries should come to a place like ours or even be sent back to the service center because it's so specialized? So I know we brought a few here, just random watches we pulled from downstairs.
So something like this to show here is a fairly simple watch design, which is fairly safe as far as opening and closing goes. The thing about doing it at home is a lot of times you can figure out how to open it, and it's easy to open it. But the problem is closing it. On something like this, not so much of a problem, but something on here where there's a curved crystal, if you don't have the proper tools and the proper presses, you can damage the watch or break the crystal.
I know this would be a great example. Let's say you could get this one open. Let's say you were able to get the strap off and get the screws out, which is doable.
You see springs that need to make contact with the case back, springs that need to hold the battery in place, and connections, electrical connections that need to be made with the pushers. And if you pull this movement out and place it back in and don't have those connections, you're going to close up the watch, and then certain functions are not going to work, or the watch itself might not work at all.
If you take a look at your watch and notice that it needs a battery, and you ever have any questions as to if you think you can do it at home, you can always just stop by and ask us, and we can advise what your best plan of action is.
Or give us or email us.
Or email us or call us.
And there's a 90% chance that Marissa's going to answer your email back. So I think the scariest topic that we always talk about at the store is water resistancy on a watch. It's such a difficult concept to get across to a customer, because when they purchase a watch, they rarely get the talk from the salesperson, or if they're getting it online, what to do 5 years down the line when your watch is, not a new watch anymore, and you still want to go in the water with it.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the times the customers will come to the counter and they just assume that their watch is water resistant because it was originally manufactured like that. We always advise the customer just not to swim or shower with it, especially in something that's a little bit more inexpensive.
When you're changing battery just quick or something like that, the back gasket is obviously the one that you would change every time. The other things are, on a watch like this is a Dan Henry chronograph that has pushers. These pushers have gaskets. This crown has a gasket. And after years of use, these gaskets need to be at least checked, if not changed. And then the main one that's most problematic is the crystal gaskets. The crystal gaskets are made out of plastic, and over time they get brittle and they don't function as they were supposed to originally.
So it's a big deal. So even just taking a watch like this, which is a Timex, it's a $50 watch, there are also pusher gaskets all over the place here. There's gaskets everywhere that you're pushing down on this watch, as well as the front and the back. You're not going to go through that process. You're not going to spend more than the watch is worth, because you'd have to charge somebody more than this watch is worth to make it water resistant again. So it's a very serious situation. Don't swim with your watch if you don't have to. That's the number one thing I'd say.
Yeah.
And if you do have to, once again, be very vocal. Don't just take it for granted that my watch, it was waterproof when it was new, so now it's waterproof forever. It does not work that way. A lot of good stuff today, right?
Yeah, for sure.
I think we hit on a lot of topics that come up pretty frequently.
And if we didn't, we'd love to hear from you. Just comment or, let us know. Go on our website, grandcentralwatch.com. Email us any questions, and we'll always give you the right answer. That's the one thing I can assure you. Right? It was great to share all this with you, and hopefully you learned a lot today. Anything that we didn't cover topic-wise, comment on the bottom, and we'll see you next time.